What do you think can be cut out of the county's budget? You specifically, what do you think they could do to save some money?
I think the county's doing the right thing right now. They're instead of layoffs, they are doing some cuts through attrition, and that's probably one of the better ways. Most governmental agencies, that's the first thing that they look at. Golden handshake. I think the school districts have tried doing that as well. But for the county, if you're looking at making cuts in departments and versus layoffs, then attrition is probably the best way to do cuts.
Okay.
I understand over the years they've been cutting because they've been faced with a budget crisis as well, but they've been able to manage it, and but attrition is probably one of the better ways of making those cuts.
What do you think can improve the county's economy, and what would your specific ideas be to kind of help develop, bring business in?
You know, I've been selling real estate for the last 3 years now, for the past 3 years, and seeing the foreclosures.
Time for it.
Yeah, well, that's what everybody says, but you know, business hasn't been, it's been fair. It hasn't been too bad, but it's been fair. And it's a tough market right now. Surprisingly, on a lot of the sales that we make, there's multiple offers, 3, 4, 5 offers. I had one offer, there was 14 offers on this one particular property, but the people that are buying right now are cash buyers. I mean, some of these deals are excellent. But the problem is construction is at a standstill now. And so we have a lot of people in construction that are unemployed. And as long as you have the foreclosures, you know, then there's no reason to go buy a new home. They're buying these foreclosures. The sooner we get rid of the foreclosure crisis, which will probably be another year and a half, then we'll see construction start to pick up. If the government had gone in and required loan modifications, then we wouldn't have the crisis that we do. Because a lot of people, they're abandoning their homes, or they're losing them to foreclosures. Some of them are doing short sales. I mean, you know, a whole gamut of things. And it's just exacerbating the problem. Because as people vacate the homes stay empty, they get vandalized, and then when they sell for decreased value. And the bad thing about that is now you have a decreased assessed value. It affects all the homeowners in the neighborhood. Their property's now worth less. They have no equity now, and 56% of the homes upside down. What I see saving Imperial County is the green energy projects that are coming. They've been slow in coming. The permitting process, unfortunately, has been too slow to really make an impact. But I was reading the paper today about a company that's finally coming in, and it's going to tail off the Sunrise Power Link. So as these green energy companies come in, create construction jobs, that's going to help our folks that are unemployed right now. And so that is to me the saving grace for this county. And we need to work on those and streamline the permitting process so that these companies don't have to wait a year, 2 years, 3 years before they get going. And it's of utmost importance. Nobody is talking about creating jobs right now. Everybody's talking about the budget and this and that, and we need to concentrate on how are we going to create jobs, and that's one of the biggest things. Geothermal energy, solar energy, wind energy. But there again, because of the permitting process dragging on, you know, it's not helping us all. Yeah, and hopefully in a short time, span of time, we'll see some of these projects really kick in. And the main one that needs to get going is the Sunrise Power Link. We got to get that line in so that we can export all this green energy that's being produced.
Speaking of green energy, you know, agriculture is obviously very important to this valley. How would you balance the needs of agriculture versus the needs of these new green energy companies?
And the concept, every county, every city has a general plan. It might be that we need to reevaluate and redo the general plan. And exactly, agriculture will always be king in my mind, and should be. It's the #1 employer in this county. And so we need to prioritize. We need to, as part of your general plan, you set off areas for agriculture, and then the ground that's least productive, you convert it to wind energy and solar energy fields. And that's the bottom line. You know, in the last building boom, which was 202 to 205, 206, developers bought several thousand acres of land in Imperial County that's already been mapped out, but it's not developed. And I think we need to concentrate on that. that land that's there now reserved for development will accommodate our housing growth for the next 10, 15, 20 years. And but we need to hold the line and not expand beyond those borders, because to not take over prime agricultural land, take land out of production. And that to me is important. The energy that we produce, the green energy, I think will bring the other side to it. It'll bring manufacturing to this valley, the manufacturing jobs that we need, that we could have had and no one's even worked on. Mexicali, NAFTA in 1994, since then Mexicali has expanded their manufacturing base tremendously, and the valley has not capitalized on that. The twin plant concept, a lot of those maquiladoras down there in Mexicali, they have to produce some of the stuff in the U.S., but all the manufacturing plants are on this side of the border, but not in this county. We need to attract those companies here, but they're going to need water, they're going to need energy, and they're going to need some of that land. Calexico, new port of entry in the west, it's got a huge area designated for industrial development, and I think that would be a good area for some of these plants. Mesquite Lake, the same thing. The land there is terrible in Mesquite Lake. It is not good for anything. You can't grow anything. It's high in alkali. Another area that we need to focus on is this cargo facility. We've been talking about it, you know, and we need to start really focusing on where can we site it. One of the areas that was mentioned was Hopeville Airstrip. I don't think it's a good location for it. I mean, not in light of what happened with that car that got hit with a dummy bomb. But we've got so much area to the east of us, Brock Ranches, for example, surrounded by thousands of acres of BLM land. I mean, we could work out a deal with the federal government, a lease agreement, and Brock Ranches is 30 miles east of El Centro and 30 miles west of Yuma, so it's right in the center of this massive area that you know would cater, or at least use those facilities for shipping out freight and stuff. But by having an air cargo facility, you open up a market for our farmers too. A tremendous market, that potential that could be there. So, I mean, all those little things I think we need to work on.
Just speaking of NAF, El Centro, how do you feel about the Desert Springs Oasis project that's kind of planned for west of NAF, which is close to their range?
My opinion is this. El Centro NAF at one time was designated, they were going to expand the military presence there. And by doing that, by allowing this project to come in, then you're decreasing the chances of NAF ever being able to expand. The plan was, as they downsized the war in the Middle East, that we could see tremendous expansion there at our Navy base in Sealy. If you allow that project to come in and it's now infringing on the airspace of the Navy base, then the feds might not be as willing to expand the Navy base. So they need to really take a good look at that and see what the impacts are going to be. And if it's going to hinder the expansion of NAF, then maybe they should say no to that project.
Another thing that, another area of expansion is the landfill. There's discussions about the landfill possibly expanding, and some residents are unhappy about that, and that's another issue that's coming to the county. How do you feel about that?
I believe we need the expansion. That landfill is almost full. 2 more years, and then where are we going to dump our garbage? I live in Hopeville, and I get 2 free dumps a month. El Centro, they pay the same trash rates that I do, but they have to pay extra to go dump, you know, their tree trimmings and so forth. And so if we don't work on that landfill, then and we wait till Mesquite landfill comes in, or Glamis out there, or Goldfields, we're going to wind up paying, our dumping fees are probably going to double. And then the people are going to complain, why didn't we expand this landfill? We had it close to home. See, so I'm looking at the long term.